Well, hello everyone. Welcome to week 5 here in Correctional Systems. Got a few things this week, but before we get started, I want to mention that because of the storm Nicholas, excuse me, and many of you being without power, I've extended the deadline for this week from last night when I'm producing this on Friday morning till Monday morning. So, if you get your work done basically by midnight on Sunday, it will be counted as on time to make up for those of you that did not have power. Many of you have already gotten the work done. That's great. In fact, I've got 2 of them that have already completed the work for the 5th week already, so including taking the exam. But if you did not get to complete the material because you had power outage, or you just didn't do it because I'm going to extend this to everybody. The deadline is moved till Sunday at midnight. So when I get up in the morning, or before 5 a.m. when I get up in the morning, you'll be fine. Okay, so let's get out of the way and we'll talk about what we've got going on this week. First, most important, we've got the first exam. And as I said, we've already had 2 people that took the exam. If their scores are reflective of what the class average is going to be, fantastic. We started off with some very high scores. The exam is going to be a multiple choice. There may be some true-false questions in there. Exam, you have 50 minutes to complete 50 questions. That is plenty time. You have all the time you need to complete the exam. The average time on completing these exams is about 35 minutes or so. So that means you've got about another 15 minutes to review your answers. You are allowed to use your notes. You are allowed to use your textbook. Your notes will be your personal notes. Now, the source of your notes can be the textbook. It can be the lecture. It can be the exam reviews that you have looked at from the fellow students. That's the source for your notes, but they must be your notes. You can't take a copy of someone else's exam review and open that. You can take a couple answers off of their exam review and add it to yours. And not only do I say you can do it, I encourage you to do it. That's why we have these exam discussions set up the way it is. The scores increased by about 4-point course average, somewhere right in that area, when I went through this change in the exam review procedures, as far as the discussion goes on. So it does help. It helps the overall average. So keep that in mind. Add them to your notes. Don't open their notes. The other thing you want to do, instead of, you're going to have an exam over the first 3 chapters, you want one exam review so that you just open one document, you search one place. You don't want to have chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3 documents open. So take all the material and open it into one document, or put it into one document, save it. Before you start the exam, open that document. Open your digital copy of the textbook if you have it. If you've got a paper copy, then have that available. Then start the exam. During the exam, get the best answer you can. If you're not sure of an answer and you want to look it up, don't look it up until you've completed the entire exam. Have a scratch paper. On that paper, write down any questions that you want to look up. So if you're not sure, question 5, put a 5 down there. Then you get to 10. You're not sure of 10. Put it down. You get to 15. You're not sure of it. Put it down. You don't like multiples of 5 for some reason. That's fine. When you've completed the exam and you've put an answer for every question, because a guess is better than nothing. You've got a 0% chance of getting a question right that you don't answer. You've got a 1 in 4 chance of getting it right if you just guess. And probably better than that, because you can usually eliminate 1 or 2 answers from the list. So you might have a 50-50 chance of getting it right. But put an answer there in case you run out of time. And then when you're finished, you've done the bonus question, which I know you'll get right because you're all watching all of the videos. Then you go back and said, oh, I need to look at question number 5, and then look it up. I need question number 10, and then look it up. And then check them off as you go. That way you'll finish the exam. I say every semester I have someone that gets shut out. Well, that happened in my face-to-face class yesterday. I had a student get shut out because they were spending too much time looking up at answers, and I don't know how many they missed because they didn't finish it, but it was several. So finish the exam first. Open your exam review first, and your book, if it's a digital copy, or make sure you've got it available and be prepared. And that way you use your time wisely. Okay, once you've completed the exam, then the Chapter 4 material will be visible, and then Chapter 4 is going to be on the intermediate sanctions. Read the book, watch the video, have your exam review available so you start completing it as you're watching the video, as you're reading the book, and then submit it. Remember, submitting it with the thing you found most interesting about the chapter in a single post. And then you need to complete your follow-up post for discussion 3. Hopefully, all of you completed that prior to taking the exam, because I certainly would expect you to do that before the exam. That way, you got that material available for the exam. And please follow the rules for the discussion. If you're not sure, if you keep getting 70s on it, you're not doing it right. If you keep getting less than 100, look and see what you're doing wrong, because you're doing something wrong. It's very simple. Some of you are making beautiful long posts that have nothing to do with what you're assigned. And remember, you get scored on what you're assigned, not on the great work you did. You've got to do what is your assignment. Just like in a job, you can't go off and do something that you think is better, because you got to do what the assignment is. Same thing here. To get the full points, you have to do what the assignment is. And then finally, I want to talk about your research paper. It's going to be due next week by the end of the 30th. At this point, you should have completed your interview. You should have actually been close to completing your paper. And then you'll have time to get somebody else to review it for you, or with you, and challenge that individual to find some answer, some things that are wrong with it. If you say, hey, look at this, tell me if it's okay, people don't want to criticize you, so they're going to say, yeah, it's great. If you say, hey, I know I've got some problems in here, I know I've got some misspelled words, I've got some sentences that probably don't make sense, but they make sense to me because I know what I want to say. Challenge them to find some things to improve your paper. And if you challenge them to find things, then they'll do it. So just use that method. Well, that's all I've got for you this week. I will talk to you again next week.